NASA estimated that 17% of Americans witnessed the deaths of 7 astronauts on the Space Shuttle Challenger on 1986, January 28th. Ronald Reagan needed to do two things. He needed to address the grieving nation, and he needed to help the nation cope with this event because this was very impactful as many people saw it on live television and the news spread like wildfire throughout the country. A little bit about Ronald Reagan's credentials. Before, he was a Hollywood actor, and he was also a union leader against Hollywood. He was the 33rd governor of California, but most importantly, he was the 40th president of the United States of America. With all of his background, he is relatively familiar with his audience being the American people. He gave the speech in the Oval Office in the White House in Washington, D.C. on January 28, 1986. And if you notice the date, he gave it the exact same day as when the Challenger tragedy happened. And it was broadcasted live on television along with radio. Now this will be the first half of the speech.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm trying to speak to you tonight to report on the State of the Union. The events of earlier today led me to change those plans. Today is a day for mourning and lament. Nancy and I are bringing to the core of the tragedy of the Shuttle Challenger. We know we share this pain with all the people of our country. This is truly a national loss. 19 years ago, almost to the day, we lost 3 astronauts in a terrible accident on the ground. But we've never lost an astronaut in flight. We've never had a tragedy like this. Perhaps we've forgotten the courage it took for the crew of the shuttle. But they, the Challenger 7, were aware of the dangers. They came home and did their job bravely. We mourn 7 heroes: Michael Smith, Dick Scobie, Judith Resnick, Ronald McNair, Ellison Onizuka, Gregory Jarvis, and Christian McGuff. We mourn their loss as a nation together. The families of the 7, we cannot bear as you do the full impact of this tragedy. But we feel the loss, and we're thinking about you or your illness. Your loved ones were daring and brave. They have that special grace, that special spirit that says, give me a challenge, and I'll meet it with joy. They have a hunger to explore the universe and discover its truths. They wish to serve, and they do, to serve our others. We've grown used to wonders in this century. It's hard to grasp us. But for 25 years, the United States space program has been doing just that. We've grown used to the idea of space. And perhaps we forget that we've only just begun. We're still pioneers. They, members of the Challenger crew, were pioneers.
There are many honorable mentions within this speech, but most importantly, his use of Aristotle's ethos, pathos, and logos. First, he uses ethos by establishing his credibility and morality. As you heard in the beginning of the speech, he said that he canceled the address of the State of the Union to do this event, and this shows that his morality, because most people would believe that the eulogy was a lot more important than just some information on the Union. He then uses pathos by saying, for the families of 7, we cannot bear, as you do, the full impact of this tragedy. But we feel the loss, and we're thinking about you so very much. He uses this to relate to the audience, because obviously most of the audience were feeling this way towards the families of the 7. And when you can relate to your audience, you have more impact on your speech. And finally, he uses logos by saying, we've grown used to wonders in this century. It's hard to dazzle us, but for 25 years, the U.S. space program has been doing just that. We've grown used to the idea of space, and perhaps you forget that we only just begun. And he says this to show that NASA wasn't exactly the most advanced technology. It was only 25 years before that they launched a person to space. But it was important because he used it to help people understand, because if he would have set some statistic on how the Challenger exploded, then most people would have been angry, because the brightest minds were working on the Challenger shuttle. He uses many rhetorical devices such as an allusion. He alludes to Sir Francis Drake, and Sir Francis Drake was a famous explorer who died overseas exploring, but you could see that he loved exploring because he did many things. And he compares them with the astronauts because they died doing what they loved, which was making discoveries. He then uses repetition. We don't hide our space program. We don't keep secrets and cover things up. We do it all up in front in public. And he uses to show that they can trust in their government. And he uses an inspirational antithesis by saying, the future doesn't belong to the faint-hearted, it belongs to the brave. The significance of the speech. During the time, the U.S. had been grief-stricken, confused, and scared after the disaster, but the speech gave hope and eased the pain for the nation, which was very much needed at the time. And the speech serves as a reminder for tragedies today that we can get through them because things have happened afterwards, like such as the 9/11 attacks, or even today with the problems in Afghanistan. And it just shows how we can get through those obstacles. The speech will endure because it was broadcasted for millions on TV, so most people remember it since it was only in 1986. And they'll remember that they had a powerful response from the president. And it serves as a reminder that even though most people may not think, government cares about its people because even at the highest power, Ronald Reagan canceled a presidential event to give this eulogy. Overall, Ronald Reagan succeeded in two things. Number one, helping the American people cope with this event and giving a well-deserved eulogy to the 7 astronauts who sacrificed their lives for discovery. Thank you for listening to my speech.